Hi, this is Mark Maclaine, and this video is on cross-cancelling. Now, what is cross-cancelling? In fact, cross-cancelling is a way of making multiplying fractions a little bit easier for yourself. Now, it takes a little bit of time at the beginning to spot what's going on, but once you get it, it saves a lot of effort when you're cancelling down at the end. Now, say, for example, we take this fraction here, 3/10 times by 5/8. Now, hopefully you'll remember that multiplying fractions, you just do the top with the top, bottom with the bottom, and what we'll get there is 15, so 3 times 5 is 15, and 10 times 8 is 80, and then we have to find a way of cancelling that down. Well, let's have a look at this. Now, what's going on here? If we've got 3/10 times by 5/8, hopefully you'll recognise that that would be the same as 5/10 times by 3/8. And the reason for that is because these top two numbers here, the 3 and the 5, when they're multiplied, they are commutative. They can move. So this 3 times 5 is the same as 5 times 3. So hopefully you can see that 3 times 5 is the same as 5 times 3 there. Well, okay, so what's going on here is essentially what we're doing is we're skipping the need to have to rewrite it like this. Now, hopefully you can see that if you've done 5 over 10, that could cancel to 1 over 2, okay? That would cancel to 1 over 2. Well, it saves us having to do that step. So all we've got here is the 3 over 10 times by 5 over 8. And hopefully you can see that the 10 down here will cancel with that 5 there. This is why it's called cross-cancelling. You're cancelling with the fraction across from you. So this 10 is cancelling with that 5 to make 1 and 2. The reason we can do that is because, as I just showed you, 10 over 5 times by 3/8 is the same thing, and the 10 and the 5 can cancel to 1 over 2. So this is the same as 1 times 3, 2 times 8. And in this case, as I said, 3 times the 1, 2 times the 8 will give us 3 over 16. Okay, now 15/80 will cancel down because both of those divide by 5. Now let me show you another example. Okay, so let's have a look at this one here. I've got 4/5, okay, 4/5 times 7/8. Now what I do is I look across, I say to myself, well, does this 5 cancel with this 7 here? Well, actually they won't, because 5 and 7 are, well, 5 does not go into 7. Okay, and 7 does not go into 5. But can the 4 and the 8 cancel? Now, hopefully you'll see that 4 and 8 will cancel to 1 and 2. But let's prove why you can do that. As I said, the top ones could switch, so that could actually be 7 over 5 times by 4 over 8. Hopefully you see that they'd be the same fractions, because 7 times 4 is the same as 4 times 7. And of course, 4 and 8 would cancel to a half like this. So essentially that would just be 1 times the 7, which is 7. And 5 times the 2 is 10. But again, the way to speed this process up is if you had 4/5 times by 7/8. Hopefully you can recognise that the 4 and the 8 will cancel to 1 and 2. And then all you have left is 7 over 10, which gives us the same answer. Let's look at a couple more examples. Let's have a look at this. Just separate these off. Okay, so what we've got here is we've got 12 times 10. So 12 times 10 and 15 times 24. Now, of course, you can just do 12 times 10 is 120, and then whatever 15 times 24 is, but then you have to cancel it down afterwards, which really is actually just a lot of extra work. So what you can do is say, well, does this 12 and this 24, would they cancel? In fact, they can both divide by 12, which would give us 1 and 2. And in the same way, can the 15 and the 10 cancel, because again, they cross, and absolutely they can to 3 and 2, because both of them divide by 5. Now all we have to do is 1 times the 2, which is 2, and 3 times the 2, which is 6. So cross-cancelling in this case saved us having to cancel down 120 over some massive number, which is really not very nice to cancel. So as I said, it takes a little bit more time to do cross-cancelling, or at least to get your head around, but once you do, it can actually make things much quicker. Let's have a look at this sum here. Do you happen to know what 21 times 6 is? Well, I don't know. And 24 times 7, not very nice. But let's have a look at this. I do know that 24 and 6 can cancel, because 6 goes into 24 4 times. So you divide both of those by 6, and there'd be 1 and 4. Hopefully you can see that. The 6 divides by 6 to make 1. The 24 divided by 6 to make 4. Then let's have a look. 21 and 7 can both divide by 7, giving us 3 and 1. Nice and simply, 3 times 1 equals 3, and 4 times 1 gives us 4. So the answer is that is 3/4. Really nice and simple. Okay. Now, how does this work when we do algebra? Well, let's have a look at this. So just do some lines here. Same thing. What we can do is look for things that cancel. Now, hopefully you'll be able to see in this case that 3 and 6 would cancel to 1 and 2, because both of them divide by 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2, 3 divided by 3 is 1. Now, there's no x there, so that's fine. But let's have a look at what's going on here. The 2 and the 4 here will cancel to 1 and 2. Now, if those with keen eyes will see that also the a's can also cancel. Okay, can also cancel. So in fact, the only thing left here is a 1 times a 2, which gives us 2, and a 1 times a 2 here, which gives us 2. But of course, don't forget this x here, so that is 2 over 2x, which would be 1 over x. Okay, now in question 6 here, we can see if there's anything that can cancel. Now, you'll see the 4 and the 8 can cancel. Both of those divide by 4, so that would be 1 and 2. Here we have a 3 and a 9, which both divide by 3 to make 1 and 3. Also, if I then wrote this out with what's left, what we've got essentially here is an x squared over 1 times by a 2 over 3x. I could, if I wanted to, write xx here to make things a little bit easier to spot, because x times x is x squared, and then we can see that one of those x's will cancel there, leaving us with x times 2, which is 2x, and 1 times 3, which is 3 there. All right, have a look at here. So we're going to, again, look for things that might be able to cancel. So we can see the 12 and the 24 will both divide by 12, leaving us with 1 and 2. And for the other ones, we've got a 3 and 18 will both divide by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 18 divided by 3 is 6. And then we look for if any of the letters can cancel. I can see that there is an M here and an M. Again, they're cross-cancelling, and that leaves us with just these. So essentially, we've just got a 1 times by the 6, and this 1W times by the 2. So 1 times 6 is 6, and just W times 2 is 2W. And again, this can also cancel. So we've got the 6 and the 2 will both divide by 2 to make 3 and 1. So we have 3 over W here. Now, for the final one, again, what you might want to do if you want is write 33mm out over 12W, and we are going to times that by 6W over 11mm, and then again, let's see what cancels. Well, 33 and 11 can both divide by 11, making 3 and 1, and also we have 12 and 6, both divide by 6 to make 2 and 1. Also, we've got the M here and an M here, an M here and an M here, and that leaves us with just 3 and M. One other thing I almost forgot to do was this W and this W also cancel there, so you have to keep a keen eye out. So we got 3M times 1 and 2 times just 1 there. So we've got 3 times 1 on the top, and 2 times 1 is 2. So we have a final answer of 3 over 2. But of course, don't forget that M there. So that is 3M over 2. That's essentially what's left. One thing to note, it's always useful to check if any of the answers cancel down anymore. And with question 3 here, you'll have seen, hopefully, that is cancels to 1 over 3. So don't forget to check your answers and see if they do cancel down.